10,000 recruits short of its 38,000 recruit target. The Air Force says it will be 3,000 recruits short of its 27,000 recruit target. The Marine Corps is the only one that says we will hit our recruitment target, but it's been a struggle to do so. Now, according to the Pentagon data, only 9% of young people said that they would consider military service as their career. That's down from 13%. I mean, think of it, that's not even 1 in 10. Go ahead.
I was going to say, think about back in like the 40s and 50s and stuff. It's like, it was like a man's honor to go in and serve in the military. People were like, I'm going to go into the military as a career.
Yeah, exactly that. It feels that way.
Now that
and it also feels a little bit vengeful. And so we will advance that story as we continue to have things about the actual indictment, but that's not it today. So yes.
That's how I remember before we get to the big story. We have a daily newsletter that I would love for you. Yeah, exactly. It's cool. Check out our daily newsletter by Redacted. Prices down to the see. That's so place to go. He makes the point that just go to redacted.inc, put in your email address, and then you will receive a welcome email from us. It'll come from me, Clayton, at redacted.inc. You can read the newsletter in about 5 minutes over your cup of coffee first thing in the morning, but you have to verify your email because it might go to your spam folder. And actually, Google has labeled us dangerous. That's why Gmail has labeled us as dangerous, which I love. So it might go into your dangerous folder or your spam folder. Drag it over to your inbox and give Google and Gmail a middle finger and say they're not dangerous, they're just telling the truth. And that's what our newsletter covers, 4 or 5 big stories a day. We did cover the Trump indictment in the newsletter this morning. But again, Monday through Thursday while we're in the summer, and then back to Monday through Friday once we get back in the studio and back into the routine of the fall. But anyway, go to redacted.inc and sign up for that newsletter. Again, redacted.inc.
And I also read Chelsea Manning's book. Now, a lot of times the military may be calling for a return to the draft. So this makes the war with Russia a very different story, doesn't it?
Are about like, hey, you're down on your luck, you don't come from a wealthy family, you don't have any other options, join the military, you'll make something out of you, and otherwise you'll do nothing. And the reason they recruited David Goggins to do this job was to go into black communities and show them, like, hey,
they were not the children of Western elites by and large. And this has allowed the U.S. to wage war without too much backlash.
And an army ranger
who make the biggest sacrifices. Now, it's just sort of, upset that some of the news is a little weird in the background and we're able to go on with our lives. That is literally the entire premise of Rachel Maddow's first book, Draft, from 2012. She makes the case that most Americans do not interact with the military in the way they once did, so it doesn't cost us personally, so we can ignore these wars. It's kind of amazing that over 10 years ago that even the liberal left press was comfortable promoting peace rhetoric, speaking out about the military expansion. They don't do that anymore. Now MSNBC's star anchor is one of the most war promoters. Like, Russia's the #1 enemy, we need to go to war with them.
We need to build up our military, we need to take on both China and Russia simultaneously. We need to build up, because we don't have the forces right now, so we actually need to build up our forces, and we need to do this through the draft, and we need to have these numbers because we just don't have the numbers right now. And how are we going to fight both Russia and China simultaneously? This is what MSNBC pushes.
Yes, they push this now, but 10 years ago they were comfortable pushing Rachel Maddow's book about the horror of military expansion and how it will creep up on us if it is not a sacrifice for all of us, even which it is not. So it's kind of amazing how far they pushed away peace rhetoric. But she was right. The military has relied on recruitment from the poorest classes, and the poorest classes have suffered the death toll in countless wars in the Middle East that never should have been. But what if that changes? This is a military.com op-ed calling for a return to the draft, and this publication is generally a pretty good temperature for the pulse of the military and military rhetoric. We will note that it's an opinion piece, but it suffices to scare me to death as the mother of a teenage boy. I'm not speaking against military service. I want to make that crystal clear. I am speaking against wasting young lives in useless wars. I respect the military, and I don't want anyone at risk needlessly. I hope you can appreciate that distinction. Now, the author notes that enrollment is down. This is something we've been warned about as of late. The Army says that it will be 15,000 recruits short of its 65,000 recruit target. The Navy says it will be 10,000 recruits short of its 38,000 recruit target. The Air Force says it will be
only 3,000 recruits short of its 27,000 recruit target. The Marine Corps is the only one that says we will hit our recruitment target, but it's been a struggle to do so. Now, according to the Pentagon data, only 9% of young people said that they would consider military service as their career. That's down from 13%. I mean, think of it, that's not even 1 in 10. Go ahead.
I was going to say, think about back in like the 40s and 50s and stuff. It's like, it was like a man's honor to go and serve in the military. Like, people were like, I'm going to go into the military as a career.
Yeah,
People were excited to do it. And now that all of these wars are happening,
so we will advance that story as we continue to have
people are
news about
losing
the
faith in the military.
actual
They've never had a
indictment.
draft during non-wartime, but in the time that they drafted
Today.
was major
So
offensives, right?
we-
Offensives. It wasn't during peacetime.
Oh,
Big story. We have a daily newsletter that I will check out. Yeah, exactly. That's cool. Yeah, I'm sorry. It was right after keeping the prices in goes.com. Right? So, he makes the point is, put in your email address, and then you will receive a welcome email from us. It'll come from me, Clayton at Redacted. So you can read the newsletter in about 5 minutes over a cup of coffee first thing in the morning. But you have to verify your email because it might be your spam folder, and actually Google has labeled as dangerous.
Think about
That's why this is dangerous, which I love. So it might go into your dangerous folder or your spam folder.
right, and
Drag it
think
over to your
about
inbox
the
and
way
Google
the
or Gmail
military
and say
is
they're not dangerous, they're just telling the truth.
presented.
And
Now,
that's what our newsletter
I've
covers, 4 or 5 of the big
just
stories of
this
the day.
year
We did cover
read
the Trump
David
thing.
Goggins' book,
But again, Monday through Thursday while we're in the summer and back to Monday through Friday once we get back into the school year. And
presented. Now,
back to the
I've
routine of the fall.
just
But anyway, go to
this
redacted.int
year
and sign up for that
read David
newsletter. Again,
Goggins' book,
redacted.int.
who was,
All right, well, are you ready to send
and
your
I
husband,
also
nephew,
read Chelsea
daughter, relative
Manning's
into
book.
war?
Now,
The military may be
of
calling for a
times
return to the
these
draft. So
recruitment
this makes the war with Russia a very different story,
especially
doesn't it?
in these
The wars that the U.S.
memoirs,
entered in the last
are about like,
30 or
hey,
so
you're
years
down on
have
your luck.
been
You don't come from a wealthy
arm's
family.
length
You
away
don't have any other
from- I wanna
options.
say
Join the
middle
military
and
will make
upper
something out of
classes,
you, and
young
otherwise
men
you would do
and
nothing.
women
And the
fought
reason
in
they recruited David Goggins to do this
Afghanistan,
job
Iraq.
was to
They were
go
from
into
more
black
largely
communities
poor and urban families.
and
They
show
were not the
them
children
like,
of Western
hey,
elites
you're
by
kind
and
of
large.
screwed
And this has
anyway.
allowed the U.S. to wage war without too much backlash. Because it's not the
and an army
who make the biggest
ranger.
sacrifices.
No,
Now it's just sort of,
went
upsets us on the news a little. We hear it in the background and we're able to go on with our lives. That is literally the entire premise of Rachel Maddow's first book, Draft, from 2012. She makes the case that most Americans do not interact with the military in the way they once did, so it doesn't cost us personally. So we can ignore these wars. It's kind of amazing that over 10 years ago that even the liberal left press was comfortable promoting peace rhetoric, speaking out about the military expansion. They don't do that anymore. Now MSNBC's Star Anchor is one of the most war promoters. Like, Russia's the #1 enemy. We need to go to war with them.
We build up our military. We need to take on both China and Russia simultaneously. We need to build up, and because we don't have the forces right now, so we actually need to build up our forces. And we need to do this through the draft. We need to have the numbers because we just don't have the numbers right now. And how are we going to fight both Russia and China simultaneously? This is what the MSNBC pushes.
Yes, they push this now, but 10 years ago they were comfortable pushing Rachel Maddow's book about the horror of military expansion and how it will creep up on us if it is not a sacrifice for all of us equally, which it is not. So it's kind of amazing how far they pushed away peace rhetoric. But she was right, the military has relied on recruitment from the poorest classes, and the poorest classes have suffered the death toll in countless wars in the Middle East that never should have been. But what if that changes? This is a military.com op-ed calling for a return to the draft, and this publication is generally a pretty good temperature for the pulse of the military and military rhetoric. We will know that it's an opinion piece, but it suffices to scare me to death as a teenage boy. I'm not speaking against military service. I want to make that crystal clear. I am speaking against wasting young lives in useless wars. I respect the military, and I don't want anyone at risk needlessly. I hope you can appreciate that distinction. Now, the author notes that enrollment is down. This is something we've been warned about as of late. The Army says that
commercials are commercials.